Hi Chessfriends, I'm gonna show you a nice pinning attacking game. That's why I call it kind of the Immortal pinning game. I played it myself, and as it's a board game, I really like to show you on the board, even we are here online. And I'm gonna come back to who played it, how it was played. So let's check out this very nice game. And I opened with 1e4, and we had immediately here d5. This is a move Bobby Fischer once had on the board, and he started to laugh about it because he said afterwards, this is a losing move. I don't think so, but well, who knows. So I decided to capture immediately, and the queen is capturing back. Why did I do that? Well, because I can win here easily a tempo on the queen with this knight. And this is something for beginners. We show in this game what happens when the queen moves too many times. So queen has to move. Black decided to go a5. I continued developing, and so did black with the knight to f6. Then we have bishop here to d2 with the idea of some nasty discovery, attacking the queen again. So this is what you really have to be careful with queen moves. But black just is ignoring me. He goes on with his own plan, playing c6, and so did I. I went with my knight to f3. Then we have here the black bishop going to g4, pinning my knight, because if I move the knight, obviously my queen is hanging. So I unpin the queen with bishop to e2, and we have e6, bringing this bishop into the game, or let's say make a room to move. So I decided to attack this bishop, asking where he wants to go. And now we have an interesting move. The queen all over the board here, attacking this line twice. Is that dangerous? It is, because now if I'm not really careful, I might even lose my rook here, because if I take here, then my rook is hanging with jack. So this is a disaster. So I have to be a bit careful here. And I did this awkward move here. I move my rook out of the way, means I cannot castle kingside anymore. And somehow you can see my king is not really free to move, so some smoother mate may be in the air, but as his knights are not very close, I'm not yet very concerned about it. So now he has to do something because his bishop is attacked, so he took my knight here, which is perfectly fine. I can take back with the bishop, and again his queen is under attack. This is good for me, it gives me a tempo on the queen, and in attacking game, speed is all you need. So not to lose a tempo, he decides to go queen e5, obviously check. So what do? I decided to block with the queen, offer a queen trade. Why did I do that? Well, if he is really going to trade queens, I can recapture with the bishop or the knight. And what was important, I can castle now queenside. But he's not interested. He retreats with his queen to c7. Okay, now I castle, bring my king to safety, knowing that I'm somewhat loose here. This is where it starts to be very interesting. So now he did the same. No, he didn't the same, but he develops another piece, this knight, and simply g3. Why g3? Well, I wanted to make room for my bishop here, because in a long-term strategy it's important that I can retreat so I don't lose my bishop. And also my pawn structure is nice in terms of his knights do not really have all that many squares where they can go to. So the only thing I was afraid is here attacking my bishop, so now I can just retreat in this case. So now he is castling queenside as well, and I go here with the idea bishop to e3, pressuring this pawn. So he has to defend, and he's doing that with the queen, defending, but also starting to build up an attack against my queen. And now I feel like there is a trap. If he is attacking too fast, he might risk too much. And therefore I simply retreat my bishop here. Now bishop is quite safe, my pawn is guarded, he cannot attack and win my bishop easily, and in a long term my bishop here is important for my own attack to the game. And now, as mentioned, he starts his own attack, bishop to b4. So now I have to be really careful, because his idea is to capture my knight, and my knight is the defender of this pawn here, so he can grab it and maybe attack a serious, maybe mating attack. So what do? I defend here, but nonetheless he is going his plan. I capture my knight, I capture back, but of course my pawn on a2 is hanging and he's going for it. But this is exactly perfectly fine, this is exactly what I wanted. With my bishop here now I'm able to move my king, so without risking to lose even another pawn right now, as it is defended, and he has no jacks now, so he can see that he retreats. Sorry about that. And I can attack his queen, winning another tempo on the queen, and he has not so many squares to go. So he goes back to hide his queen, but now I have this wonderful line here where I can attack his queen and attacking the bishop, attacking the rook. But of course to the price that my pawn here is hanging. So I'm not in a rush, I attack even more. So you can see now I can attack constantly his queen on one hand, and on the other hand I bring my rooks against his king's side, while my own king is still relatively safe. So he goes back with the queen, and now I have to capture. If I want, I can win the exchange. I'll win the exchange. He takes back with the rook. And now this was maybe my weakest move here. I was quite confident that I can have a serious attack. The queen is guarding here this pawn, so I offered a queen trade. And he accepts. I recapture with the pawn, and he defends here with the king. This pawn hanging, attacked by my rook. And now I want to double rooks, of course, but I have to be careful, because, as I said, this is the pinning game, and here it's starting. What is the idea? Well, now I can rook either here on the A file or on the B file. I'm very flexible depending on what he's playing. And indeed he goes knight to B6. And now I have to be careful, because if I'm doing some silly move now, I might lose the game immediately. A silly move would be here, doubling here, attacking this knight because he has check here. I cannot recapture, this pawn is pinned and he wins my rook. So nothing I can do. So I did I doubled the rook on the A file, but he doesn't care nonetheless. He goes here, giving me a check. But this is not a good move, because I simply go out of the harm's way. Now his knight is really under attack, and at the same time this pawn here is hanging. It's attacked twice, only defended once by the king. And he has no really good squares for his knight, so he has to go back, he has to block his rook, and that gives me a lot of activity. And now I just capture here. So he decided to move the king, because he doesn't want me to allow to force an exchange of rooks. And here it's starting, the matching is starting. We have to say this kind of moves had been blitzed out in the game within 3 minutes, the series of the last 10 moves. So in a classical time you wouldn't play such a move, but here I played this rook to A6. Now I'm threatening to capture here with jack. This pawn is pinned. I'm allowed to go here because this pawn is pinned here. And now the importance of my bishop is obvious on this very strong diagonal. This reminds a bit of AlphaZero, really liking to have a safe bishop against the king and winning an endgame. And this is really the critical moment of the game. In this, after my move, which is obviously very risky, there is only one defense. That even wins the game for black, I have to admit. But it's not so easy to find the move. So if you like to find it, check out, stop the video here. It's a small hint, it's really only one move. So I give you the answer, the move would be here, knight, attacking my rook here. And now it's me being in serious trouble. I will lose the exchange in this variation, and I cannot do much about it. But in the rush he played another move, and this is why this game started to be really insane. He retreats, the knight attacking, similar idea actually. He retreats and attacks here my piece, but he's too slow. I just give another check here. My rook is protected by the bishop. Still this piece is pinned, he cannot capture, he's not in time as it's check. So what is he doing? He tries to go back, attacking now my knight, going out of the pin. So now this rook is attacked by the knight and the king, and this rook is attacked by the now unpinned pawn. So what do I do here? I capture the knight, giving a check. So now he can decide what he wants to do. Either he captures here and I win this rook, or he takes the rook and then we see what happened. He decided to take this rook here, but now I have this crushing check. King is in check, not made yet, he has still a square, the only square available, a8. He has to go, and now it's horrible for him, a discovered check by this bishop. So only move allowed, going back. I torture him again, giving another check. He has to move here, I win another pawn. He's on the check again, so he has to go back. And another check. He has to move. Now I attack the knight. Knight blocks the jack here. And I'm perfectly fine because I won now so many pawns. I'm glad now my extraordinary white bishop has done his job. With jack I capture the knight and the pawn takes back, and final move of the game. Many moves now are possible. I'm just up too much material with these extra pawns. I capture here, and in this, it was in this position that the game ended. Of course now, this was maybe a bit too fast, but doesn't matter, he can go here, give me a jack, but then I can hide here and there's really nothing to do here. Slowly but surely my king will come into the game, winning this pawn. My connected pass pawns here will march through, and most important, this king is never going to be alive anymore in this game, as it's totally cut off by my rook. So, quite a funny game. A few words to the player. This game was played on the Chess Time app. It is a game that you play one move for each 2 days, so very slow game, but as I mentioned, the critical moment of the game was played really instantly, 10 or 15 moves within some 5-10 minutes. My opponent, bobtarask, is how he's called, is rated on this app by 1405. I'm rated 1426. And by analyzing the game, the quality of the game, maybe you heard about it, it's called CAPS from chess.com. So they calculate the best moves by the engine and how many of these moves you found by yourself. And the game I played was rated 95% for white, and black played, sorry about that, 83%. So for this rating we have, it's quite a good quality, 95% is not all that bad, as with the top grandmasters they play around 89-99% of the best moves recommended by engines. So quite instructive, even we are amateur players. So yeah, I think first what you can learn here is if you play many queen moves in the beginning, you always have some struggles because the queen is obviously a target, so be careful about that. But black played really well. He didn't get too down in development of his pieces, even with these queen moves, because he did quite some nasty queen moves. And the second thing is exploiting pins, and it's all about speed. If you're one move ahead, then you really can exploit the pins, and this is very hard to see and calculate. And as we saw, the critical moment of the game, there was only one move that defends for back, maybe even wins. I know that was a risk play by myself, but he didn't find, and that allowed me to finish this game in this extraordinary style. So yeah, that's the game. I hope you really enjoyed that one. Could learn something. Comment down. You really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I see you soon.